gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Phone Booth Productions.
Here's the thing.
Well, I get up around 7, get out of bed around 9. I don't worry about nothing, no, because worry's a waste of my time. Show usually starts around 7, we go on stage around 9. Get on the bus about 11, sipping a drink and feeling fine. Hello.
What's up, Chaz, dude? What's up, Chaz, dude?
What's up, man? How are you?
Ready to come in hot? You said you're bringing the heat this morning.
I'm fucking bringing the heat, dude, because obviously this is such a big topic that we're going to talk about, and I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I've had some shit go down over it. Nothing crazy, but it just some shit that really reinforces my views on it.
All right.
So ask away, bro. Let's do this.
Before we jump into it, man, are you a football fan? I can't remember.
I am not. I don't care. Although last weekend I was up in Utah at my dad's house with my little brother, and we watched a little football, and I wasn't entertained, but I found it fascinating how they pick which plays to run and all that. I don't know the science behind it because I don't follow football, but I found it somewhat interesting. Now, having said that, does not mean I'm going to become a football fan. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Well, you know what's really cool is I just found out that on Prime, if you have Prime, you get the Thursday night games are on Prime. And there's a feature within the app there that you can pull up, and it'll show you like a different angle of the play, and it'll draw out the players' routes and stuff on it. So it'll basically draw up the play on the screen for you. It's really neat. And it's like I had never seen nothing like that before. I was like, damn, that's pretty neat. So I can't wait till Thursday to check it out. But also today, I hope my Bears win because they're 0-2. And if they don't win today, I'm just in a frustrated state.
Cleveland have a better record this year?
What are they? Maybe 1-1 right now, I think.
So they do have a better record.
Well, it's just yeah. I'm pretty sure they're 1-1. I don't know. They might be 0-2.
That's pretty rough, dude. That it's sitting in the Bears locker room right now, and the coach is going, "For fuck's sakes, the Browns have a better record than us." Come on. Sorry to all my Cleveland friends.
That's just the Arizona Cardinals have a better record. Ugh. All my friends.
Browns coming in hot like a Cleveland steamer, bro.
But let's get into the topic, man. We were going to talk about free speech and some of the things that are going on. Within that topic lately, Kimmel got fired. Stephen Colbert recently got fired. People like Roseanne have been fired for speech. The list is long,
Well, here's my thing on it. I posted a thing the other day, or no, a buddy of mine from Canada posted something about it. So I just responded because he's a good friend of mine, and we talk politics, and he agrees with me on a lot of things. But, he doesn't openly post on Facebook about politics or anything. And then his post wasn't overtly political to begin with, so I didn't start. I just said, hey, it's 11:11, by the way. So I just said, hey, to be non-political here, I never found Jimmy Kimmel to be funny beyond the Man Show because the Man Show was pure potty humor. And what man doesn't love potty humor?
Well, I certainly don't enjoy it.
Yeah, right. Every Saturday. So, but I mean, he did questionable things on the Man Show, like being in blackface and
Yeah.
you know, but so did Howard Stern, and Howard Stern got canceled to a certain extent because all of a sudden, as soon as Stern went hardcore left, all that stuff comes back to haunt you. So, getting back to my post, I just said, hey, without being political, I never found Kimmel funny past the Man Show. I don't watch late night TV because I was always, playing a gig somewhere or, in bed when I wasn't playing a gig. So I never watched late night TV after Letterman retired. Just didn't
Yeah.
do it. Kimmel, I mean, any of them, I just don't watch it and I don't find it funny because Kimmel went so hardcore left. Colbert went so hardcore left.
Yeah.
And when you're on the right,
Almost all of them did.
right. So when they go hardcore left, you sit there when you see these clips because everything is clip based. Everything has to be a reel now. Everything's clip based. And when you watch these clips of some of the stuff they say, I never found any of it funny because I am a Trump supporter. MAGA, okay, I don't run around wearing a red hat. I have one, doesn't mean I run around wearing it, but I support them because I get what they're trying to do. I get the premise behind the whole thing. So when they would just go hardcore left and then just put out blatant lies about everything, and I'm sitting here watching it and it is absolute lies, I don't find it funny. Now, having thought about that post after I typed it, I kind of changed my mind because I did a deep dive on it and I find them funny, but from the perspective of just laughing at them, not with them. I don't want to spend all day busting my ass working all day to come home and put that on and listen to them spew the same stuff that I could listen to all day long by watching the news channels.
Hmm.
CNN, MSNBC, Rachel Maddow. I don't watch them for a reason because I don't find that shit funny because I know with anybody with common sense can look at that stuff and know that it's bullshit. Take the 5 minutes. Sometimes it doesn't even take that long to research it. To
Yeah,
know that
but
it's
there's a lot of people that don't, man. And there are a lot of older people, sadly. Like my mother, my roommates. There's just people that even some of my friends are a little bit older than me. And they just don't take the time to do the research. But did you see the other day the post I made with the list of people that have been um, not necessarily canceled, but they've been affected because of their speech. And it goes Roseanne Barr, we all know, Kevin
right.
Hart, Megyn Kelly, Alex Jones, Steven Crowder, the book The Catcher in the Rye, Charlotte's Web, Gone with the Wind, To Kill a Mockingbird, The New York Times, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Dr. Seuss, Gina Carano, Dave Chappelle, Parler, the app, J.K. Rowling, Mike Lindell, Donald Trump, Of Mice and Men, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson. They've all been ostracized because of their speech.
Well, yeah, don't forget to put Charlie Kirk on there if you
Sh-
don't have it on
Sure,
there, unfortunately.
sure.
But
And that's the most recent thing. As long with Kimmel too, but Charlie Kirk is definitely a bigger thing. There's a huge memorial that I was actually going to go to today and live stream from, but when they said how big it was going to be, I was like, "Fuck that! I'm not going near that
right.
place."
Well, and the tough part is, I mean, Roseanne, her show was successful.
Yes,
And Kimmel was successful to an extent.
Kimmel was losing $20 million a year.
Right.
Colbert was losing $40 million a year. So I wonder if this, like with Kimmel specifically, if they were just looking for an excuse to get rid of him and they saw the opportunity to jump at it.
Well, I want to know if that $20 million a year includes his salary because if it doesn't include his salary in that figure, it was 36 million a year.
That they were losing.
Because he was getting his contract from what I heard today was worth 16 mil. So if it's 20 million including that 16 million or is it 20
Right.
million without the 16 million added to it? Now and see the thing of it is, like, from my perspective, late night TV is supposed to be you busted your ass all day, have some laughs. Sure, there's a little bit of social commentary on there, but it should be right down the middle. Like everybody should be fair game at that point. But from what I'm reading and hearing, Kimmel said that knowing damn well it was bullshit.
Well, he probably didn't even write it. Somebody else probably wrote it for him to
It
say.
does. It doesn't matter, man. I don't care. I don't care who wrote it. It doesn't matter. Just who is he? Is he? Is he Ron Burgundy, where he has to read everything on the teleprompter, no matter what it says? You know, come on. He can see there. Somebody writes it. They have a writers' meeting. They go over that stuff. He just doesn't read it live and has
No,
never
I
seen
know.
it before. So, for and your viewpoint, is what a lot of people are saying. Hey, maybe he didn't write it. You know what? Doesn't matter
Well,
whether he
no,
wrote it or not. He
the
said it.
point, yeah, it doesn't matter who wrote it. The point is I don't think that someone should lose their job for something they say.
Right.
Because what's next? What's next? Like, I'm not going to be able to podcast and say what I want to say, and it kind of already is there. There's certain things I can't talk about on YouTube.
Right.
I can't play music on YouTube.
Right.
But you know, there's
Well,
certain words that will get you kicked off. We had to pull our live stream down immediately last night because of a clip that we played, somebody else talking about something.
right. And look, I know that, if somebody's watching this, they're already maybe saying that, I'm not for free speech. Oh, I have a podcast too. I absolutely am. But free speech is free speech, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have consequences.
Sure, I agree. The employer should be able to fire whoever they want.
Look,
You know,
they were, I think,
so I
honestly, if
think
they were losing that kind of money, I think they were looking for a way out to begin with. And then when he goes on and says this, and then they say, "Hey, dude, you need to apologize for this." And from what I'm hearing, he decided to double down and say, "No, I'm not apologizing." Dude, that's your employer. That they pay for everything that you have. Everything you have is because of them, not because of you.
well,
It's because of them because they decided to keep you on this long, even when you started steering that way, knowing damn well that you know what, if you steer that way, half of the country is gone immediately because we're not going to watch it, but we're not going to go shoot somebody in the neck over it, or we're not going to, cause somebody physical harm. We're just going to say, we're not going to shop there anymore. We're not going to watch ABC anymore. We're not going to buy the products that advertise on ABC during the Kimmel show. That's how we do it. We're just like, nah, we're not going to do that anymore. We're not going out there and going, no, dude, this guy needs to be taken off the air and never heard from again. No, we sit back and we secretly laugh at the guy because we feel that guy's an idiot, but we don't get into a shouting match. We laugh, we turn the channel, stop buying the products that advertise, and that's it. Look what happened with Budweiser, bro. Do you think anybody on the left stopped drinking Budweiser? No, nobody on the left drinks Bud Light. I promise you. Dude, the entire South and the country community, the cowboy community, and the entire South drink Coors Light and Bud Light. And they all support Trump. So when you pulled that woke bullshit, Anheuser-Busch, everybody's like, I just won't buy Bud Light anymore.
yeah,
And
no,
every other Anheuser-Busch product. That's how we protest. We just don't buy it anymore. We don't go out and we don't burn shit down and we don't, beat people up. We don't, unalive somebody, to use the good word of the day. We don't do any of that. We just stop supporting it.
yeah. Well, I think for me, the biggest problem is, and I totally agree that your words can have consequences. Like if I have a boss and I tell him "fuck you," he's gonna fire me. I have my freedom of speech. I can say "fuck you" to him,
Right.
but he has every right to fire me. I think
Absolutely.
my biggest problem is that it was the FCC that stepped in and said, if you don't handle this situation, there will be consequences. And they're still even saying that they're not done. They're going to go after more people. And that's the problem I real have. If it was ABC or Nextar's decision to fire him, that's fine. But if it was because the FCC stepped in and said, you need to handle this, that's wrong, because that's our government telling us what can and cannot be said.
Well, I didn't look at the whole FCC thing, right? I didn't like I didn't really pay too much attention to that, and I get what you're saying, and you have a point,
And here's the
right?
other part of it. Here's the other part of it is that Nextar has a deal where they're merging with another company that's worth billions of
Right,
dollars, and so
right,
they need FCC approval for that merger.
right.
So now that's another aspect. Now, are they only doing it to appease that, to get this merger deal? And
Well,
now Jimmy's caught in the crossfire. And believe me, I am not a Jimmy Kimmel fan. I don't support him. But again, it's free speech to me. You
right.
know, and honestly, I thought what he said was in poor taste, but I think the words got a little contrived in there. It's like he kind of was just trying to point out that Trump kind of shifted subject and didn't stay focused on Charlie Kirk, and I think that was the bigger deal than whatever else he said. But it just doesn't make any sense to me that he should have been fired over it.
Look, man,
Um,
if you want to defend him, that's fine. I don't, like I said, dude. You.
I'm not defending
I'm
him.
not
I'm
talking
defending
about
free speech.
right, and when I say you, I'm not meaning you.
Yeah.
I'm meaning just it's a generalized statement. If you want to defend him, and because a lot of the way people are seeing what he's saying or what he's hearing, or what they're hearing what he's saying is from a clip,
Mhm.
right? And anything here that doesn't necessarily fit a narrative has been chopped off.
Yeah.
Now he is, in that instance, he's just as much a victim as when there was fine people on both sides back in the day. It's the same exact thing. The left was presented this thing where all this bad shit was happening with white supremacists and all this stuff, and Trump said, well, I'm sure there's very fine people on both sides. Cut clip.
Yeah.
And they went after Trump. They threw everything at him,
Yeah. Well,
right?
speaking of clips, that's another reason why late night is failing. Nobody is watching it. They're
No.
watching the clips. They're watching
Right.
the clips on YouTube and TikTok and other sources. So the, this is almost better for someone like Jimmy or even Stephen Colbert, because now they can do their own thing and get the same kind of results. You know what I mean? They can
Well,
start their own podcast, have the same guests on. I mean, podcasts are a much better formula than late night is right now.
well, the thing is, and we've spoken about this before on and off the podcasts, talking about clips and how that not going too long on a podcast, which last time we went almost 3 hours, but
Yeah.
that it's people don't consume stuff like that anymore. That's just like nobody buys albums anymore. No, that's what I mean. Nobody.
My guest last week does, the hair metal guru.
Right, right. And I mean, I would once if I find it at Zia for $5, I'll buy it because I can't afford to go buy it brand new. And in order to buy a CD brand new, I got to order it off of Amazon. But I digress. That's why a lot of bands just release singles now or EPs. They don't have to spend all the money recording an entire album, and nobody is going to buy the entire album anyways. We're living. Consider the reels and clips you see on Facebook and YouTube and X and TikTok and everything. Those are the singles of modern day content.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Yep.
Back then, you bought a cassette that had the single on one side and then maybe like a B side or a deep album track on the other side. And a lot of bands, I never bought the full CDs because there was only one good song on the CD to begin with, so I just bought the single. So that's how it is today. We are living in the single universe. Maybe
Yeah.
I guess the dingle doesn't
No,
the
that,
the
that's
dingle
that's
the
that's
dingle
something Vince is into.
the tick tingle. You know what I mean? I don't. There you go, Vince. There's your new podcast, the Tick Tingle Universe. But you know what I mean? That nobody wants this. They want this.
Yeah.
They want 60 seconds of beauty.
Well,
You know?
I mean, some people, I think, like a lot of truck drivers want that long format, which is good to do
Right.
audio. Put the audio.
Right.
I just started doing Spotify, so my stuff's going to start being available on there. I like longer format, but I also like something shorter. Like I feel
Right.
like the hour is a pretty good mark. So that's why I
Right.
usually try to shoot for that. And if it goes longer, if it goes a little shorter, fine. Either way.
Yeah, there's really only a couple people that can keep me engaged for longer than an hour, and that's typically going to be Rogan because but I only listen to him every once in a while.
It
It
just
has to
depends
be
on the
like
guest for me. I'm not listening to
right,
every episode.
right. But I can sit there and listen to it because it's just literally two or three dudes sitting there bullshitting, and it's fantastic because he knows when to sit back and let the guests talk. So I can listen to Rogan, and then uh, I always go back to the old Art Bell shows. I mean,
I
I can
gotta start
listen to
listening
those.
to some of those, man, because I know they're really good, and it's just like I don't know, I just never was into them. But I think if I would have discovered him earlier, got
Right,
into him, I always knew about him, but if I
right,
just had gotten into him
right,
sooner, I think I would have really
right,
enjoyed it.
right. So
Dude,
get
you'll really enjoy the guest on the phone booth coming up that we're recording with this coming week. He produced some documentaries and directed some documentaries all about aliens and UFOs and stuff.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
it's called Aliens Uncovered. It's on Tubi.
Oh yeah, I know who
He's
you're
got
talking about.
there's a bunch of them. I was looking through them and I watched one of them the other night, and he's got a lot of his stuff from Arizona out here.
Right.
So
So getting back, we're circling back as what's her name would say, Karine Jean Pierre, circling back to this. Uh, people. It is just look. Like I said, there's a big difference, and I think it's it's a to me it's a mental health thing in a way because I mean I know, like I said, 100% of MAGA people literally laugh, just like okay, whatever, you know. All MAGA people really care about is, look, man, I don't give a shit what you say, and I don't care what the hell you do. Just don't make it my problem. You know what I mean? And when you get, somebody's talking. I mean, Charlie Kirk got assassinated, and it was an assassination. Charlie Kirk got assassinated for his beliefs and his free speech. Now, the left can argue that what I said before, it's free speech, but with consequences. Okay, I agree that it has to be both sides. You have to agree that it goes both ways. But I am personally, and I can probably speak for every single MAGA person, I am personally not going to shoot somebody or kill somebody for their beliefs. Now, if you're some, weirdo and we're walking through the mall and, you shake your dick at my wife or something, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to try to hurt you. That's sick. If you're a sicko and you mess with one of my granddaughters, Lord help you,
hmm
you know? But that's a mental health thing. Again, MAGA people, we laugh on the inside. Or if you're yelling and screaming at us, we laugh at you in front of you, and then we turn around and walk away. That's the end of it. MAGA people aren't violent, but the problem now is that I think the Charlie Kirk thing as far, and you know what? I can't even say that because I don't believe the official narrative on that.
No, dude. Like if you've seen any of the live streams we've done over the last 2 weeks, like I mean, we've looked at it from every angle, and presented every
Right.
crazy thing about it. Like, I mean, it's really absurd, and it's definitely the official story is not what's happening.
Right.
And I mean, it's really easy to look at when you look at that bullshit text they released. There's no way that was his text thread. That's
Right. And
obviously fucking made up.
I got a theory on that. And this could just be some crazy thing on my end. It's not a conspiracy thing. It's not a JFK thing, but I have a theory on this. I mean, my theory is that they were so quick to come out with that narrative, right? Because once my thoughts would be once somebody who was involved or had a hand in the planning or whatever sees that somebody is taking the full rap for it, loose lips sink ships. And I think now, I think they released that narrative to see what else would come out of the woodwork after the fact because people that do shit like that are generally fucking stupid and generally arrogant and think that they're not ever going to get caught. So they start blabbing again. So that's what I think. I think
Well,
that
listen, if their bullshit story was true, they would be more upfront about it. There would obviously be some videos and some pictures of him on the campus. You're going to tell me there's not a million fucking cameras on that campus that would catch him with a big bag on his back going up there or with the rifle and all of that. And I mean, even in the text messages, they said that he carried or he broke it down, put it in the backpack, carried it across the campus, hit it, put it back together, hit it behind the
right,
bus. Like,
right,
and the amount of time it would take to do all that, is just absurd to begin with.
right.
Like,
And I have a theory on that too.
and like they
I
released the only photo they released of it, it looks like that fucking photo of Bigfoot. You know what I mean? Like,
right. So
like,
I have a theory on this. My theory is that they put out the official story, right? And now they're waiting to see who's going to start blabbing about it that might be involved because now they're saying they've got 7 other people of interest, right? That might have been involved. So now these people could be potentially blabbing about it, right? But I think they put out that bullshit story on purpose because they're like, all right, now we're going to let the internet go to work.
right.
Now we're going to let these people do the work for us because I'm sure they've got people that can sit there and they've got every angle of all those cell phones, because they can sit there and go, okay, you were at the Capitol on January 6th. Even though you didn't do anything, you were there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look
right?
how many
The
people they
GeoNet.
arrested for that shit.
So any video that you have on your phone, as soon as you record it, it goes to the cloud, right?
Well,
So they can
not
go,
from mine, don't.
well, so it, I can pull up old videos and they have to be downloaded from the cloud. They don't all save to my phone after a certain point. So I digress. They had access to every single cell phone video and within, I'm going to guess 24 hours, right? They had access to everything that was connected to a cell phone network or Wi-Fi they had, right? So if Russian hackers and Chinese hackers can get into our shit, don't think that the FBI and the Homeland Security and all that doesn't have your stuff. They have it. They have access to it. I mean, and that's not a conspiracy theory. That's common sense, So they had access to everything. So I think they put out this narrative to get people to start going to work, right? And you've seen everything. Now, the latest theory is the guy, clip or fires a shot, then tucks it under in a pocket on his shirt, right? That's the latest theory, is that guy shot him. right? So then people are saying, well, then there should have been an exit wound coming out of the back of his neck if he was shot from the front, right?
And there would be blood splatter all over the white tent.
Right. So now one of the guys at Turning Point who was in the car or whatever, now he's saying that the bullet never exited the body because Charlie was so strong and he was like a Superman, that the bullet never exited his body because his tissue was so strong. Dude, I don't know about that rifle. I'm to shoot 200 yards. Isn't that pretty much a high? Not 600 feet. Wouldn't that have to be a high-powered rifle? I don't know anything about the rifle, but
All I know is that it's a pretty easy shot.
Right, but if he got shot here, something's got to come out of the back. That bullet, he did. If he got shot here and blew everything out, this
Yeah,
way,
there's a couple it looks like there's a couple of guys on Charlie's right that could have done the shooting as well.
right,
Like there's a couple of different videos going around, and
right,
there's a lot of different theories on it. There's as far as who's behind it. He, I guess, publicly said, or he's told some people that if he was worried about a certain country killing him. I don't want to say their name,
right,
but we talked about it, on the other streams. And I guess he turned down a bunch of money from them, and he had
right,
recently started talking bad about this country. And then all of a sudden the prime minister of the country comes out and says they had nothing to do with it. He's
right,
also the first person to report the death. So there's just a lot of weird connections that you're like, okay, what? And then you look at this certain country and their list of assassinations is ridiculous. We pulled it
right,
up on one of the streams, and I mean, we were scrolling for minutes of their assassinations.
right. And when it comes to that country, and I mean everybody knows which country we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yep.
When it comes to that country, they're pretty ruthless. And I mentioned it to a friend of mine at work the other day, and he's like, "Oh, so you're
Yeah.
anti-Semitic?" I'm like, "No, I am absolutely not." I said, "To me, there's a difference."
Between the country and the people.
Right, right. I said, "There's a clear difference to me." I said, other people may not feel that way, but to me personally, my feelings are there's a difference, and that country has had a hand in a lot of pretty ruthless things, allegedly,
Allegedly.
a lot of pretty ruthless things, and to again to take somebody out for their freedom of speech and their ideas is not
Or
okay.
even something that they said, just
Right. It's never going to be okay. There's nothing about that that's okay at all. So now, what has Charlie Kirk's passing done? There's a couple things that it's done. It's fortified the right. I mean, we used to be strong. Now it's fortified the right because it was, there were certain splinters in the right and there were certain cracks in the right. Now the right's fortified again, right? Charlie Kirk's passing, and this is going to sound insensitive, but it's not meant towards Charlie Kirk at all. It's meant towards the opposite ideology, the people that just feel that it's okay to do shit like that. That was your fuck around and find out moment. It absolutely was, because as you can sit here and see, like you said, you were going to go to that memorial and live stream. There's going to be over 100,000 people there.
they said over 200,000 have signed up.
Right.
And not on top of that, that the between the two venues, the stadium and the arena that's right there, they could barely. I don't think they can hold 100,000 between the two of them.
Right.
And the amount of streets that are going to be closed off, especially because one, the president is going to be there, and then all the parking and the traffic that goes along with it. Dude, fuck that. And then we even talked about maybe flying a drone over there, and then we're like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't. You'd lose that drone in a heartbeat.
Yeah, maybe.
That's definitely wouldn't be a good idea, especially now. But um, I it's united the front on the right. So now, like Steven Crowder was talking about it the other day. He's like, I'm gonna come out right now and say I condone the violence against the left. He's like, but under the circumstances of if they're threatening you or they're attacking you, like physically, or you feel your life is in danger, that's when I condone. He's like, I don't condone the mob theory of just going out with baseball bats and beating on any people, that aren't MAGA. That's not okay.
Let
Never
me.
okay. But if they're threatening you, or if there's a crazy leftist guy pointing a gun at you or screaming in your face telling you that they're going to kill you and they go crazy on you, I mean that's protection, it's
So, speaking of protection, let me ask you something. What do you think about the theory that Kirk faked his death and escaped, and that's why Cash Patel said, "I'll see you in Valhalla." Valhalla literally is the code word used for witness protection. And then there's a place in New Zealand. Well, there's places all over the world called Valhalla. But what do you think about that?
you know wouldn't surprise me. I can't say that that's true. I can't say I believe it,
Well,
but
what if he had help in doing it because he knew that there was a threat against his life by a certain country,
right. Well, that's the other theory that goes on top of that is also that Trump's in fear that this other country is
right?
going to
Well,
take him out.
supposedly they found recording devices
Yes.
from his last visit here,
Yes.
and he's visiting here in 5 days. He'll be here
Right.
again. So there's a
Right.
lot of theories out here too that for some reason people are throwing that Mom Donnie guy into this, that he'll arrest him when he comes to New York or something. I don't
Well,
know.
here's the other thing that goes along with your theory that you're talking there, and it has to do with the Epstein files in the sense that they haven't been released because one of the theories is that Epstein was an agent for this country,
Hmm.
right?
And even the recent JFK release docs point a finger at that country too.
Right.
And
Well,
so
don't
it's like
forget.
there's so much, like it's like what the fuck.
Well, don't forget that JFK Jr. is still alive.
It maybe, maybe.
Look, look. It's that's a again.
I don't know.
I really, if you got somebody, dude, that can come on Earmob and give me all of the background on the whole QAnon thing,
Talk to Jonah.
dude, get Jonah to come because I want to talk to somebody about it because I've dabbled my pinky toe
Yeah.
in it,
We
and
talked about it quite a bit recently. We've talked, well, I mean, in every episode we talk about it a little bit.
right.
But
And I know you guys have dabbled into the Nisara Gsara stuff, so I I want to talk to somebody who knows, like, did the deep dive and can
why
lay it
don't
out
why
in
don't you
front
go
of me.
on his podcast? I'll get you on Philosopher King. I'll tell him to have you on. I know he'd be down to talk to you about
Right,
that
but
shit.
right. And that's fine. I want somebody to school me on it because like I said, I know the Mickey Mouse 10 and 2. I know the where we go one we go all was etched into the bell on JFK's boat. I know, the John McAfee, the Andrew Breitbart, the one actor that said they killed himself for something to do with the crazy hair. I don't remember that guy's name, but there's so much out there, but my thoughts
Did
are
you see RFK Jr. was on a podcast or like a live stream one time, and one of the commenters in that, or somebody had asked him if JFK Jr. was still alive, tug on your collar, and he did like that. So
right.
maybe, fuck, I don't know. It could be true, could not be. I'm on the fence with the whole Q thing, like, but things that they talk about in it, it seems like some of the things are happening.
Well,
And it seems like, when they say they're saving a certain country for last, that could be
right,
happening.
you're right. I saw that too. And like I said, I've dipped my, I read all the little tweets and I watch some of the videos and I dip my toe into it. And I, I'll be honest, it's not that I believe all of it. I love the idea of it. I really do. But it's not that I believe it. I just love the idea of it,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's a stretch to make the connections, but I love the idea that we have the freedom of speech for somebody to post something like that if it's true or not. And again, you see posts all day long because you're a big X guy. You see posts all day long, and people will post something, and immediately people start piling on. If it's the prime example, it's I always look at some of these tweets that the prominent Democrats post, and this isn't an anti-democratic post, but I want your watchers and your listeners to think about it this way: who the hell is writing those posts to begin with? And if that person purposely writing the dumbest shit that they know is going to get people fired up on them, right? Or are they really that stupid and blind to what they're posting? So they'll post something about, we would never condone this act of senseless violence and la da 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 da, right? Prime example, we would never promote people getting their freedom of speech being taken away, right? Okay, well then you go back years ago when what's his nuts, who used to own Twitter, banned Alex Jones and Donald Trump from the Twitter platform.
Mm-hmm.
Banned them outright. Shut their accounts down. Right? That was going against freedom of speech.
Well, again, like that can fall under. I don't agree with it. I don't think that they should have done it. But again, it's their platform. They can
Right.
suspend anybody for any reason they want, just as an
Right.
employer can suspend
Okay.
anybody for
Well,
any reason they want.
ABC can kill Jimmy Kimmel if they want.
Yeah, and
Right? They took Roseanne off the air.
I think it was just an easy way for them to get rid of him because the late night formula is failing, and they had to get rid of him. I don't know if it was because of his speech. I don't know. I mean, he said so much worse, and been a lot worse over the years.
Right. Oh,
it just
did
seems-
you see what Keith Oberman died? Or Keith died. Keith Oberman did. He
no.
used to be on ESPN, I think, right?
Yeah, I know who he is, but I know he's a real weirdo, so I don't pay any attention.
So
to him.
he posted something, burn in hell, Solinger or Salzburg or somebody. Didn't do enough research to figure out who that person was. I think that person has to do with the FCC or something. And then he says, burn in hell, X person, right beside Charlie Kirk. That, to me, again, that's freedom of speech. Dude, but that is somebody who's so fucking angry over somebody else's beliefs.
You know what to me is worse is the reversal that needs to be done on the Smith-Mundt Act, because they allow these networks to basically lie to people and not report truth.
Right.
That's a bigger issue than for firing these people than what they're saying.
Right. And isn't
that's a bigger. Yeah,
Trump signed an executive order or something on that recently, right?
I don't know.
He signed something.
I know they're trying to reverse it, but I don't think it's officially finalized and gone through. I know they're trying to.
Right. Now look at it this way, dude. Do you think, I mean, back in the day, the news was where you went to find out what was going on. That's not the case anymore. Now the places where you go, I don't go to Fox News to find out what's going on.
You go to Twitter.
I go to my Twitter feed,
Yeah.
right?
And
Because I can get the word directly who I think is directly post. Like if Sean Hannity posts something on Twitter, I believe it's Sean Hannity. Now it might not be Sean Hannity. It might be a handler,
right.
and Sean going,
Well,
"Hey,
that
post this for me." You know what I mean?
well, that's the sweet part about Grok is you could just ask Grok, and it cycles through every publication, every tweet, everything
Right.
said about it, and it'll give you an answer.
Right, and
You know,
that's
I mean,
what
it's
happens
amazing.
now because these people, these left wing leaning, excuse me, left leaning people post a tweet, and what's the first? The first comment is, "Hey Grok, is this true?" You know
Hmm.
what I mean? That's
Yep.
always the first. "Hey Grok, is this true?"
Yep. But
And
even Grok gets stuff wrong and is crazy too. You
right,
know.
because well, Grok is going off of only what it can find and evaluate that's already on the internet. It Grok, as far as we know, Grok doesn't have an opinion. What as soon as
You remember when it went anti-Semitic?
right. Well, again, that was because of something somebody was feeding it, and
Yeah.
it was going off of it built in its answers off of what it could find, which was scary. So freedom of speech. We are guaranteed freedom of speech, at least as far as we know, right? Because now we're seeing that it's not always guaranteed, you know. But freedom of speech is a constitutional right. But again, it doesn't mean it doesn't have consequences, whether you're left leaning or right leaning. You know, Alex Jones found that out when he said all the stuff he said about the school shooting. And whether anything he said was true or not, I don't know.
Well, it
But
wasn't even like he made the stuff up. He was just like
repeating,
reporting what he had heard, you know,
right?
and
And again, that's the difference between him and Kimmel, in the sense that he was reporting what he heard, and Kimmel knew it wasn't true and said it anyways.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Like the asshole that went on
And
MSNBC
the
the very same day right after it happened and said, "Oh, we don't know. It could have been somebody celebrating a MAGA celebrating the event by shooting their gun off." Are you fucking kidding me? My point being, a lot of MAGA people are gun owners, and they are responsible gun owners, right? They can walk through a Walmart with a gun on their hip, knowing damn well that they are never going to shoot somebody or going to have any intention of shooting somebody. They don't want to shoot anybody. It's there in case they have to shoot somebody, threatening them,
mhm.
right? It's not there to just walk in and start shooting up the joint. That never that never frickin' happens. But when it does, and it's by somebody who doesn't fit a certain narrative, the shit gets locked down
Yeah.
tight. You never hear it, you know. And prime example, Nashville shooter. Oh, we'll never release the manifesto. Well, guess what? Somebody sent it to Steven Crowder, and Crowder published it and read it online, and it was a trans person.
Yeah.
Does that connect to the person that um, allegedly shot Charlie Kirk in a relationship with a male transitioning to a female?
Also into furries.
Into furry. So if you don't know, for those of you out there who don't know what a furry is, it's somebody that likes to walk around dressed as an animal with a butt plug in that has a tail coming out of it because they want to have a tail like an animal. That is your furry. Now, furries, if you want to dress up like an animal when you were 4 and go trick or treating, okay. I honestly think that there's a mental health issue there. I honestly do. That's my opinion. That there's
Right.
a mental health issue there. There's when it consumes your life to that extent, and that's what you want to do all the time, and you want to walk around all the time. I get it. You don't really care what people think about you, but I think deep down inside you do. I
Well,
think I think you're trying to shock people, and you want somebody to come at you and scream and yell at you so you can play the victim. You're putting yourself out there
Right.
like
But
that.
but I do support your freedom of choice.
Right. You can look, I don't I can't say that I don't agree with it. It's just not my thing.
Right?
Do what you want to do, just don't make it my problem.
Well, Chaz, give me your final thoughts on this free speech stuff, and then let's wrap this up. What do you got to say? Final thoughts on free speech, and are we are we gonna lose it?
No. No, we are absolutely not going to lose our freedom of speech. I think again, it's going to be, you can't go into a movie theater and yell fire. That's not against the law. You can do it. It just has a consequence.
Right.
It's not you're not necessarily going to get um, arrested for it because it's not against the law. Again, you have freedom of speech. It just has consequences.
Yeah.
It just has consequences. And look, if you don't want to find out, don't fuck around. It's that, I mean, it's that simple. If you don't want to find out, don't fuck around.
Yep, I agree.
Every MAGA person is okay. We'll laugh at you. We'll do whatever because we don't agree. We think a lot of times stuff is just stupid and dumb, but we'll laugh at you. We're not going to attack you in a restaurant. We're not going to throw a milkshake on you or, grab your hat off of your head because it says, Harris Walls 2024. We're not going to do that. We don't do that. We
Yep.
don't burn buildings down. We don't, set Teslas on fire. That is a fucking mental health thing, dude.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thinking that it's gonna make any kind of difference is
right. And it's an indoctrination thing, dude. It is absolutely an indoctrination thing. We're seeing it time and time again with these, just, and they think the same thing about us watching Fox News or OAN or, whatever. They think that we're being indoctrinated.
Yeah.
But the difference is we're not being indoctrinated to go seek you out on the street and kill you because we don't believe in what you believe in. We don't share your opinion. That's
Right.
the difference. We don't hold training camps to learn how to use weapons so that we can go out and kill you and set your cars on fire and show up to your house and threaten your kids and your family because we don't like how you voted on the Supreme Court.
Right.
I mean, there's instance after instance. So
Yep.
again, freedom of speech will always be there. It just has consequences. You need to be an adult and you need to have enough common sense to realize that.
Yep.
We're not showing up at Keith Olbermann's house and burning it down or shooting him because he said Charlie Kirk burn in hell. We just look at that guy, you know what? Fuck that guy. And that's the end of it.
Yep.
Jimmy Kimmel, F Jimmy Kimmel, and that's the end of it. We just, and it's funny because we're getting the left to now boycott Disney.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Disney
It's
went,
like, forget about all the child accusations against them for the last however many years, but this is the thing that gets you guys excited about it all. All
right.
right.
And that's how it always works. They will bitch and moan when we do it, but then they do it and don't even realize.
Yeah, I mean,
How-
we didn't even get into like Aunt Jemima and fucking
Lando Lakes, butter.
Land Lakes, all the other ones that have been canceled, even like the Cracker Barrel thing recently,
Oh,
it's like,
Jesus Christ. Like if you dude, think about that. You're the CEO and you've watched all this shit happen to all these other companies and you're the CEO and you sit back and go,
this
I
is
think
an
that's a
idea.
good idea.
Well,
Please.
Chaz, I appreciate you taking the time today to have some fun and talk about this shit. It's an important topic, and it needs to get out there and discussed more.
Right.
You got any final thoughts on furries?
Ah,
All right, man. Hey, I'm gonna get you in touch with Jonah too, and you guys figure out you guys go on each other's fucking podcast because I think you guys would have a great conversation about Q.
right, right. Yeah, and I want to know, and I know that you guys talk about a lot of conspiracy stuff, and I don't want to, get into too much because that's kind of your guys' thing. But at least that's why the ear mob's kind of just a little open format, so to speak. And I know
Yeah,
you guys are too. But
you should have Haywood on sometime too and talk about the Superstition Mountains, and he's all pumped up. He saw the Northern Lights and stuff, so he'd be a
right,
good one to talk to. But
right.
anyways, dude, let's wrap this up, and we'll get you on the Here's the Thing some other time too, and we'll do another episode. And thanks for coming by today.
Yeah, dude. At Earmob Podcast on X, everybody.
Yeah.
So come yell at me there and tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, check out his podcast on Rumble too. What is it,
Yep.
Earmob Podcast?
Yeah, everything straight across the board. Everything super simple. Earmob Podcast. Facebook, the Earmob Podcast with Chas Stumbo, but it's at Earmob Podcast on there as well. X Earmob Podcast. Instagram at Earmob Podcast. Never really post on there. X, Rumble, YouTube. It's all exactly the same. Super easy to find.
Boom, there it is. Thanks, Chad. We'll see you later.
Peace.